2025 was a fantastic year for film. Even as cinemas continue to feel the effects of the pandemic, I have had some amazing experiences with a crowd. From the genre-defying spectacle of Sinners to the adrenaline-fueled frenzy of one battle after another, the theatrical experience has thrived in the face of streaming. Of course, not everyone has the time, money, or ability to watch every single new release at the cinema. There's more options than ever, and short theatrical windows mean there are almost certainly some hidden gems that you missed. It would be easy for me to discuss some well-known films that I liked, such as Bugonia, Weapons, The Naked Gun, 28 Years Later, Eddington, and even K-pop Demon Hunters. If you haven't seen any of these yet, I definitely recommend giving them a go. That being said, I instead want to focus on some of the smaller joints that don't quite get the same admiration. This isn't a ranking, but rather a snapshot of 7 films I think you should watch if they interest you. Australia tends to get later theatrical releases than the rest of the world, so apologies if one of your favourites doesn't make the list. Chances are I just haven't had the opportunity to check it out yet. If you've seen any of these films, let me know your favourite down in the comments below. I'd love to hear some of your own suggestions that might not have been included too. Let's show some love for movies that don't quite get the attention they deserve. Double check that you're subscribed while you're there, and let's get into it. The Safdie brothers are known for their adrenaline-pumping films, be it Uncut Gems or Good Time. Now imagine that same level of stress, double it, and give it to a struggling mother. The result is Mary Bronstein's psychological drama, If I Had Legs, I Would Kick You. Now recently Rose Byrne has been getting some awards buzz for her performance in this film, and I have to agree, it is one of the best of the year. All her deliveries have this nervous energy to them, where you feel like she could scream or cry at any given moment. There's plenty of outbursts too, but some of the best moments come from the space in between them. It's a movie that wouldn't work without a strong lead, and I'm glad to see a talented actress known for her comedies step into a more serious role. One thing I'd like to call out in particular is an ingenious editing technique I noticed. The cuts between scenes are often abrupt and occur before we get any resolution to what's currently happening. This would be frustrating in another film where specific plot details matter. However, we don't actually need to know how Linda overcomes the situation. Just the cut alone tells us she scraped by, and also gives us no time to process what just happened before we're thrust into the next stressful situation. If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You is a masterclass in controlled chaos. It felt like I was holding my breath the entire film when watching it in the cinema. It can be anxiety inducing, but I highly recommend giving this a go if you want a raw outlook on the struggles of motherhood. Taking a step in the complete opposite direction, Train Dreams is a beautiful outlook on grief, life, nature, and the subtle beauty of it all. This film had a tiny theatrical window before being shipped to Netflix, which is a shame as it has beautiful cinematography. We follow the 80-year life of Robert Granier, a humble railroad worker providing for his family in the forests of Idaho. At the start, I thought this would be your run-of-the-mill American dream tale of ambition, but that's not what Train Dreams is about at all. Hustle and grind culture has led us to believe that everyone must strive for something greater than themselves. We have to get that promotion, start that successful business, become the best musician in the world. Robert's tale doesn't involve any of that. In fact, it's quite unremarkable on the surface. The man spends his entire life working a dangerous job and deals with plenty of loss along the way, yet it's still one with purpose and fulfillment. Just like the insects in the trees, every little life has meaning and is part of something beautiful. This film definitely falls into the category of hopecore, and displays a level of sincerity I welcome in this irony-filled world. If you enjoyed The Life of Chuck, and want something that feels a bit more comforting, Train Dreams will leave you with the feeling of a hot fire and warm blanket on a cold winter's day. Just make sure you have some tissues ready to wipe away any tears.
I just want it more.
Social media has been around for a while now, but it's still one of those things that filmmakers struggle to put to screen. That's why I was pleasantly surprised to watch 2 movies this year that seemed to get it. One of these was Alex Russell's directorial debut, Lurker, a psychological thriller which taps into just how scary parasocial relationships can be. This film revolves around Matthew, a retail worker who inserts himself into the social circle of rising pop star Oliver. As you can imagine, the lines between fan and friend get murky, and there's plenty of psychological warfare to go along with it. Theodore Pellerin's performance is the standout, simultaneously chilling and cringe-inducing. His awkward mannerisms make you laugh one minute, then put you on the edge of your seat in the next. It's an unconventional role that's really stuck with me long after the credits, especially with that effectively abrupt ending. I also love the choice to shoot on 16mm film stock as opposed to the obvious digital candidate for a modern day story. It gives the overall picture a grounded, intimate feel, which complements nicely with Matthew's recording of Oliver for his artistry and stalking purposes. Add a touch of homoeroticism and you get a thematically layered film that feels like an eerily accurate portrayal of the modern world. Lurker is a must-watch for Gen Z cinephiles, perfectly encapsulating stan culture and parasocial behaviour that pervades social media. I'm sure most people my age can relate to that. This is a suggestion that might prove to be a little controversial, but please hear me out. Luca Guadagnino's recent film, After the Hunt, was a box office bomb and received pretty poor reviews. In fact, it is easily the weakest on this list, and I think the script is a little messy at times. Why am I including it then? Because I think it's a lot more interesting than people give it credit for. This film follows philosophy professor Alma as she attempts to navigate the fallout arising from a sexual assault allegation against one of her close colleagues. From what I can see online, most assume After the Hunt is a commentary on Me Too and out of touch with the real lived experiences of victims. While I understand this criticism to an extent, I thought it was an interesting exploration of how Gen X and Gen Z handle their trauma differently. Comparing how Alma and Maggie respond to their experiences were some of the more interesting aspects of the film. Despite both being victims, they're at each other's throats due to differing ideologies. Guadagnino's decision to tell the story from Alma's perspective almost feels self-reflective in a way, understanding how older generations bottle up trauma and blame themselves for other people's moral failures. It's something I wish the script explored a bit more, as it can get disjointed at times. Julia Roberts, Andrew Garfield, and Michael Stolberg all give amazing performances, and Guadagnino's direction is on point. I love how he blocks each scene to reflect the power dynamics shifting between each character. Where I think After the Hunt's controversy comes from is the exploration of performance. I have to draw parallels to Eddington as it did something similar, but whether they mean it or not, every character in the film is putting on an act to the wider public. The line between theatricality and sincerity is a lot thinner than you'd think. Guadagnino continues to prove that he's a filmmaker who's willing to experiment, always doing something different with every production. With this in mind, I think you should give After the Hunt a fair shot. Who knows, it might end up being a little better than you'd expect. It should go without saying, but some of the best movies out there aren't in the English language. Quite a few foreign films in 2025 have been getting recognition, such as Sentimental Value, No Other Choice, The Secret Agent, and It Was Just an Accident. Sadly, at the time of writing this script, I haven't been able to watch any of these, but there is one non-English film I've seen that stuck with me, Shi Ching-su's Left-Handed Girl. This is very much a day-in-the-life type movie, where we follow a single mum and her two daughters run a noodle stand in the bustling streets of Taipei. One thing I love about watching films from other countries is learning more about cultural norms and attitudes. In Left-Handed Girl, we see how these can sometimes negatively affect the lives of women. Such superstitions are often rooted in misogyny, which leads to self-doubt and intergenerational trauma. Yijing goes as far as to separate herself from her left hand, believing it's the devil acting on its own terms. All three of our main characters try to get by in a world that looks down upon them, dealing with their daily struggles and burdens in different ways. I obviously have to bring up the cinematography, which was somehow shot entirely on an iPhone. The low camera angles, wide lenses, and overexposed lighting is so dreamy, perfectly putting us in the headspace of 5-year-old Yijing. Director Shi Xingzhu has been a long-time collaborator with Sean Baker, who you may know from sweeping the Oscars last year with Anora. He also worked on the film, which is obvious in hindsight given the use of iPhones and story about a dysfunctional family. If you're a fan of Baker's work, or enjoy movies where you just watch people's daily lives unfold, then definitely give Left-Handed Girl a go. Like Train Dreams, it was released on Netflix, meaning you can watch it now.
Black bag.
Stylish, sexy, sleek. Black Bag harks back to traditional spy thrillers that focus more on espionage rather than high-octane action. Unfortunately, this film underperformed at the box office, which is a shame as it's the exact kind of quick mid-budget flick that's been missing from theaters. A married couple of spies trying to uncover a mole in their organization? That makes for some compelling drama, especially when carried by two powerhouse actors in Cate Blanchett and Michael Fassbender. It shouldn't be surprising that Steven Soderbergh directed, given he's also responsible for the Ocean's trilogy. He's been at the forefront of mid-budget cinema for decades now, a true master of the craft. Whether that's the opening long take following George in and out of a club, or the overexposed table lights in the dinner scene. Each shot and plot beat feels slick. Normally I'm not too big on such a clean look in films, especially in big action blockbusters, but the cinematography and style of Black Bag is so suited to the story that I actually grew fond of it. The cat and mouse game between George and Catherine is so gripping to watch, with a climax that ties everything in a nice bow and feels earned. This is the type of espionage thriller I wish we got more of. If you want a compelling 90-minute mystery to watch on a Friday night, give Black Bag a shot if you haven't already.
Yep. I love you.
I know I said this list wasn't going to be a ranking, but I've saved what's probably my favourite of the bunch for last. This decade has seen some amazing directorial debuts from women and non-binary filmmakers, such as Charlotte Wells' Aftersun and Celine Song's Past Lives. Now 2025 can add a couple more to this list, one of them being Eva Victor's Sorry Baby. I heard before going in that this film was a bit of a black comedy, but what I got was more devastating than I could have possibly imagined. Sexual assault is a serious topic that's tricky to portray in cinema, as it can come across as exploitative or insincere if proper caution isn't taken. What hits me most about Sorry Baby, however, is just how real it feels. There is humour, yes, but it's a coping mechanism for Agnes. Victor's ability to balance conflicting tones make for one of the most honest and raw portrayals of such a serious topic. Grief isn't just self-pity and crying, there are still moments of beauty and laughter amidst the tears. Everyone deals with their trauma in completely different ways, and it often affects us for the rest of our lives. The world keeps telling Agnes to move on, but is there ever truly a right amount of time to grieve? The fact that Eva Victor not only acted in the lead role, but wrote and directed this too baffles me. To come out swinging with such a strong debut leaves me excited for what they plan on making in the future. I have to give a shout out to Mia Kyofi Henry's cinematography too, as while the images aren't the most flashy, the way the New England scenery is shot looks beautiful. There's a warm feeling to the daytime, which contrasts so effectively against the bleak atmosphere of night. I've never felt so full of dread watching a house cut from daylight to darkness. Sorry Baby is an absolute must-watch that will leave you in tears. A film so devastating, yet still offers a glimmer of hope in one of the best endings of the year. It might not get as much love during award season, but that doesn't mean you should let it fly under your radar. And there we have it. 7 films I think deserve a bit more love. If any sound interesting, make sure to give them a shot in your local cinema if you have the chance, or at home. Since you've made it this far, please leave me a like and subscribe for more videos like this one.